Ghana we want is achievable. That's according to President Mahama, and that story is on page 3 of the paper. Be bold in your thinking. Unimac Vice Chancellor urges students. Professor Eric Opoku Mensah is saying, and university dons Lord Gold Board on macroeconomic benefit. That story is on page 5 of the Accra Times newspaper. It comes with the pictures of Mr. Peter Junior Dochi, Professor Ejapoma Jeche Dako, and Professor Festus Ebo Texing. Also on the front page of the Accra Times newspaper this morning, Amadu Sorogo is chairman of NFC, pledges strategic leadership. That story is on page 4. An MPA boss speaks at 77th New Year School and Conference, also on page 4 of the Accra Times newspaper. Now to the Daily Gist newspaper. Who is behind GRA's 17 million cedis sweet oil deal? Who is behind GRA's 17 million sweet oil deal? That story is on page 3. It comes with a picture of Anthony Kwesi Sapon, GRA Commissioner General. Also on the front page of the Daily Gist newspaper, NPP moves to expel Professor Frimpong Boateng over anti-party activities. Story on page 9 of the paper. Supreme Court pushes Bandai election dispute to January 28. Supreme Court pushes Bandai election dispute to January 28, and 55% of Ghanaians back Bawumia for 2028, says a poll on page 3 of the paper. Also, the Daily just says how Oforiatta ended in U.S. detention. The inside story on page 2. If you want the inside story of how Ken Oforiatta ended in U.S. detention, then grab a copy of the Daily Gist for yourself. It is selling at only 5 cedis. Also, a major story on the front page of the Daily Gist is Shraj probes Dev Tracker over new GRA Kanda office contract. Shraj probes Dev Tracker over new GRA Kanda office contract. That's it for the Daily Gist newspaper. Now to the Insight newspaper. The Insight newspaper. Brian shakes 16 regions. NPP presidential race. Brian shakes 16 regions. Completes 276 constituency tour in record time. The paper says one of the flag bearer aspirants of the NPP, Brian Champion, has completed 276 constituency tours in record time. We'll get to know the details. Also, Nungwa Stool condemns unlawful possession of firearms and invasion of Manjo lands. Nungwa Stool condemns unlawful possession of firearms and invasion of Manjo lands. South Africans blast US as rogue state in protest to denounce abduction of Maduro. South Africans blast US as, quote, rogue state in protest to denounce abduction of Maduro. Also, government gets tough on plunder of forest, unleashes timber task force to reclaim national heritage. Government gets tough on plunder of forest, unleashes timber task force to reclaim national heritage. Okay, so now there's a timber task force as well. I see. Price of premix fuel reduces significantly in January 2026. Price of premix fuel reduces significantly in January 2026. That story is on page 5 of the paper. And Green Transition Officer hails Jospel sustainability drive, says move deserves more domestic and international spotlight. That's it for the Insight newspaper. I'll take you now to the Daily Post newspaper this morning, and this is what the Daily Post says: that Akando directs managers of teaching hospitals to operate 24-hour OPD and lab services. Akando directs managers of teaching hospitals to operate 24 OPD and lab services. The story is captured on pages 4, 5, and 6 of the Daily Post newspaper. We'll get the details. Government plans 10 billion cedis domestic infrastructure bond to fund roads, boost economic recovery. And ICE cleared Ken Oforiatta as medically fit before detention, according to Victor Smith. Victor Smith is Ghana's ambassador to the United States. These are the stories that the Daily Post is reporting on its front page. And finally, from me is the Custodian newspaper. The Custodian newspaper says that NPP to sack traitors. That's how the paper framed it. NPP to sack traitors. Starts with Frimpong Boateng. NPP to sack traitors starts with Frimpong Boateng there. That is what the Custodian newspaper is saying. Also, above tribe, beyond religion, across regions, let's win with Baumia. Supreme Court rules on Pandai rerun January 28. Comes with a picture of Matthew Nyendam hoping to regain his seat in Parliament. No room for tribal religious divisions in NPP. That's according to Mr. Hassan Tampuli. Is seen in the picture shaking hands with Dr. Baumia. Siao Ejapon urges conscious leadership cultivation at 2026 JLC Confab. An expert raises concerns over MIF's governance issues. These are the stories that the Custodian newspaper is reporting this morning. On 3news.com, 3news.com. You can log on to 3news.com and you get some more stories as well. So this one says Health Minister directs managers of teaching hospitals to operate 24-hour OPD and lab services. The story says that the Minister for Health, Kwabena Minta Akando, has directed all public teaching hospitals to urgently begin operating their outpatient departments, laboratories, and diagnostic centers on a 24-hour basis in line with the President's 24-hour health service policy. He made this call during an ongoing sector-wide management retreat, which brings together leadership across the health sector to reflect on performance and chart a forward-looking path. The minister further tags the Health Facilities Regulatory Authority and the National Health Insurance Authority to expedite processes towards the full accreditation of the Sunyani Regional Hospital as a teaching hospital, noting that this will enhance clinical training, decongest existing teaching hospitals, and improve access to specialized care. Mr. Kando emphasized that government health sector priorities outline critical reforms and targeted interventions aimed at improving access, strengthening coordination, and enhancing service delivery nationwide, while aligning with institutional objectives, budgets, and operational plans. With these commitments, he noted, is essential to meeting public expectations and accelerating sector-wide performance. Let's take a listen to the health minister when he was making these statements as he directed all public teaching hospitals to urgently begin operating their outpatient departments, laboratories, and diagnostic centers on a 24-hour basis in line with the President's 24-hour health service policy.
Please, let me see you owning the provisions in the manifesto. Aligning what you are doing to the manifesto. Let's go back. Please, I'm not saying that clearly. We must align ourselves to the manifesto. Take responsibility. There are some of them one agency cannot. One or two must come together. It's not as though whatever you are presenting is not good. It's fantastic. But you are not aligning them to the manifesto. You are not owning the provisions in the manifesto. It's not coming out clearly. So you see, a minister will sit down there because all of these are brilliant ideas. We'll go on that direction. We'll leave our document somewhere. 4 years, Ghanaians will ask me, what did you do? Please, let me see you owning the provisions in the manifesto. Aligning what you are doing to the manifesto. Let's go back. Please, I'm not saying that clearly. We must align ourselves to the manifesto. Take responsibility. There are some of them one agency cannot. One or two must come together. It's not as though whatever you are presenting is not good. It's fantastic. But you are not aligning them to the manifesto. You are not owning the provisions in the manifesto. It's not coming out clearly. So you see, a minister will sit down there because all of these are brilliant ideas. We'll go on that direction. We'll leave our document somewhere. 4 years, Ghanaians will ask me, what did you do?
On the back of this. So we asked the people in the field whether they are able to do it. It's one thing telling these professionals, these hospitals to urgently begin operating their outpatient departments, their laboratories and diagnostic centers on a 24-hour basis. In fact, a lot of hospitals already do this. That's a truth, and we should establish that. But if we're making this urgent, if we're making this mandatory, if we're calling this a directive, do these health facilities, do they have what it requires? Do they have the needed equipment? Do they have, the manpower to be able to do this? Does their facility itself support something like this? Or they'll need some forms of help from government? And is government willing to provide them with what they need so that they'll be able to carry out this directive? So that you visit any teaching hospital in the country, whichever region you go to, any teaching hospital you visit, they'll be operating outpatient departments, laboratories and diagnostic centers on a 24-hour basis. In fact, I know that for a lot of the outpatient departments, almost all the hospitals are open 24 hours a day, 24/7. The laboratories, maybe a few of them or some of them, but the diagnostic centers at the teaching hospitals, that I'm not too sure. We'll get to know exactly what the situation is, how important this is. We know it will go a very long way in helping us deal with some health situations we have in the country. This is fresh from the health minister. You will be interested in this. This one says, reduce prices as CD strengthens. Reduce prices as CD strengthens. It is coming from the trade minister to Abosokai dealers. In fact, just yesterday, we had a few calls on our Community Voices segment where some of our listeners were telling us that although the cedi has gained some strength and the dollar is falling, when you visit Abosokai, a lot of the spare parts dealers, or some of the spare parts dealers, they have rather increased prices and they do not understand why. This morning, the Minister for Trade and Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosua-Jare, she has urged spare parts dealers at Abosokai to further cut prices in line with Ghana's improving macroeconomic fundamentals. The sustained appreciation of the cedi as a key driver, noting that the exchange rate has strengthened from levels of about 17 cedis to the US dollar to around 12 cedis, significantly easing foreign exchange pressures on imports and creating room for downward price adjustments. The minister also referenced recent fiscal policy measures, including the scrapping of the COVID-19 levy in the 2026 budget, which she said is expected to lower the effective import cost structure and reduce the overall tax burden on imported spare parts, and related items have already declined, reflecting improving cost conditions, she reaffirmed. Never they holler for my money, I call on my God. I never they wonder, never. She's urging them to reduce prices as the cedi strengthens. Maybe we should try and speak with the Abosokai spare parts dealers and ask them what the situation is, what the difficulty in reducing the prices is. Because a lot of people are complaining that although the cedi has gained strength, spare parts has not gone down. And then in fact, it is affecting drivers, hence they cannot also reduce their lorry fares further. I'm sure they have good reasons and would love to hear from them. So the trade minister said that in 2024, the dollar went up to $1 to 17 cedis. Now it's under 12 cedis. And so there shouldn't be any justification why prices will remain the same or go up. This is about my fifth interaction with traders at different levels. Early 2025, when the dollar started going up or down, I invited the traders and we had a conversation, and they gave me up to 4 months to reduce prices. True to their words, after 4 months, a lot of things were reduced, especially tomatoes, rice, oil, and all of those things, and even some spare parts. In further discussion, we have realized that some traders have still not reduced their prices to reflect their strength in the cedi. She says that in all fairness to people here in Abosokai, about 80% of the people I spoke to have reduced their price. And I'm here with some drivers and they are attesting to that. A few have not reduced their prices to reflect the gains that the cedi has made. So we have discussed and I am excited at the reception. So what the trade minister is telling you people at Abosokai, you are dear spare parts dealers at Abosokai, that please reduce your prices because the cedi is very strong. The cedi is strong now. Please reduce your prices. Let us reflect in your trading activities. And this one is coming from the camp of the NPP. Professor Frimpong Boateng defies NPP expulsion threats. That's the story on page 4 of the Daily Post newspaper. It says that Professor Frimpong Boateng defies NPP expulsion threats. The paper says in a blistering rebuke of the NPP leadership, cardiothoracic surgeon and party stalwart Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng has declared he will not be intimidated into leaving the party he helped build. The former Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation responded to reports that the National Executive Committee is moving to expel him for labeling the current party structure as fake. Rather than backing down, the professor launched a fresh volley of criticism, suggesting that it is the current leadership, not him, that should be shown the exit. That's according to Professor Frimpong Boateng, and the tension follows a series of recent interviews where Professor Frimpong Boateng described the re-election of certain leaders as a train wreck and characterized the party's direction as fundamentally destroyed. When asked if he would preemptively resign to avoid the humiliation of expulsion, his response was defiant. Listen to what he said. He said, "No, I am not leaving the party. They should leave the party because they are the fake ones. They should go away and the true party will stand." He dismissed the next disciplinary measures as a distraction, stating flatly that he has no intention of appearing before any committee to defend his remarks. It says that I will not honor any invitation from NEC to waste my time, signaling a total breakdown in his relationship with the party's administrative wing, or with the current party's administrative wing. The professor's critique is rooted in the belief that the NPP has drifted far from its founding principles of liberal conservatism and institutional integrity. He argued that the party is currently in a state of terminal decline that can only be reversed by a complete purge of the fake elements at the top. So let's take a listen to Professor Frimpong Boateng. And is this when he was speaking on Asempa? When he was making all of these claims, we can take a listen to him when he was dismissing the disciplinary measures as a distraction. He says that he will not honor any invitation from NEC, from the party. He says that he will waste his time. Take a listen to Professor Frimpong Boateng now.
Do you still consider yourself a member of the NPP?
Where the present MPP is not MPP, it's fake.
What?
Yeah. What I see now, it is not the MPP I used to know.
But the question still stands. Do you still consider yourself a member of the NPP?
Not the fake one.
So which one is the real one?
The real one is there. It's a virtual thing, and the members are there in the background.
You think that... I don't understand.
Now look at how they elected their last flag bearer. You know, twist the arms of weak, and
this is for the 2024 election.
Yes, twist people's arms, bribing delegates, and intimidating others to get a flag bearer. You know, this is the beginning of corruption, and this should not be allowed in any serious situation or in any serious party. And there were issues. We lost the elections badly, and we did not deal with the issues that led to the losses. And then we still want to go in there, and I think it would be a train wreck.
Do you still consider yourself a member of the NPP?
Where the present MPP is not MPP, it's fake.
What?
Yeah. What I see now, it is not the MPP I used to know.
But the question still stands. Do you still consider yourself a member of the NPP?
Not the fake one.
So which one is the real one?
The real one is there. It's a virtual thing, and the members are there in the background.
You think that...
Well, before the big statement be from General Secretary, but General Secretary, me share da, me ne kasa da. But what I'm saying is I'm just waiting for official communications from them.
Yeah, because I say in the statement, I say Obe refer to NEC. And the NEC would have to take a decision on you, but we're invoking the constitutional provision for expelling a party member from the party. Into was started to move the UF free party. But was a NEC it may approve our decision. No.
Okay. I'm just I mean, so a lawyer also here. I don't know when he completed law school. Maybe a lawyer was teaching real school. No. Now, for this man to say, Ubia Bomipa and America the Americano, I am very sad. I've been very consistent. Sir, Omopa, and Yama Matria on the party, for the years, over the years, But then another one, I've been very consistent, very concerned. So, party and Kofa Brown, some Brantia, so what I'm saying is that faction or general secretary, that's a fake thing. Now they should quit. And then the real party will stand.
Yeah, but you are still repeating claims, Ama secretary issues, because when you say party,
I don't care what they do. I mean, look, he is fake because the only faker. I said, Obia program from 9 to 10 p.m. Almost 6. Now we see I issue statement to somebody from the party. They can go ahead.
No,
I'm not even respond.
That be one kasa nekeshia or no as general secretary. And the way invoke provisions in the party constitution say or refer to NEC.
Look, he's not a mature general secretary. How can you a program that ends at 10 p.m. and then before morning, you issue a statement. They can issue any statement that they want. I will not miss them, Obi.
But
I don't care what they do. Look, they are destroying the party, and somebody must stand up for that.
Okay, what have they done to destroy the party? In this uncommon, and then they destroy the party now.
Look at all the things. Look at how we lost the election. You didn't go there. So, abuse of power, corruption, arrogance, and the party could not stand up to anybody. I'm a party now, teacher, Pantampe. Who's around here, you will be free. So, how with them?
Yeah, Prof. Nyabutre, but don't you think you are confusing government with the party? The government had a head of that executive.
The party brought the government. So if the government is going astray, the party can make a stand, can take a stand. As I said, the party didn't do anything like that. So what is the party there for?
No, but you were in this country when the general secretary did interviews. There should be reshuffle. They called on the president to reshuffle his administration. What else could they have done?
I mean, you can't reshuffle. Look, there were so many things. What country has we need a PCC country?
Yes.
We lost election, and obviously, the party, one more party in the executive, they were supporting one person. They were supporting him. Some people were the blue white in Jomosa and Omutomano, the blue my Yabrabu Wamo, they say, and you manco here. And you lose election report. Instead of coming out, move to your report, no be a candy, you'll be a Najaba, who quite a fast bit more win election. Look at that, and you must say, yes, I'm going to say you. And yet,
yeah, but why are you then saying, sir? Omo e chinchim nkofo nsa no mo da so chinchim nkofo nsa ye nenso
omo da so chinchim nkofo nsa
and say dey mu need to me mu bio
omo nya kra I mean there has been allegations even the electoral register kra no there are irregularities. I mean people are still not happy with them.
Yeah, but
also mo hwe here to statement to somebody from the party. They can go ahead.
No,
I'm not even respond.
That be one kasa neck hia o or no as general secretary. And the way invoke provisions in the party constitution say or refer to NEC.
Look, he's not a mature general secretary. How can you a program that ends at 10 p.m. and then before morning, you issue a statement. They can issue any statement that they want. I will not miss them. You know, Obi. I don't care what they do. Look, they are destroying the party, and somebody must stand up for that.
Okay, what have they done to destroy the party? In this uncommon, and then they destroy the party now.
Look at all the things. Look at how we lost the election. You didn't go there. So, abuse of power, corruption.
But you are still repeating claims, Ama secretary issues, because when you say party,
I don't care what they do. I mean, look, he is fake because they won't be faker.
You know what? It's big girls up in this building, you know. Yeah. I'll pop champagne, innit?
Yeah. I'm a faker. I mean, look. They won't
She calls this fake London boy, but earlier was the voice of Professor Frimpong Boateng, a stalwart of the NPP. The professor says that the party is fake. The party says that you have called me fake, you have called us fake, so we'll punish you, we'll expel you. Professor now says again that you are saying that you expel me, you cry you are fake. Oh, it's a battle of the fakeness. So that's it from the camp of the NPP. That's it from the camp of the NPP.
Fake London boy is coming down, coming.
In the political arena, this time we're going to the Supreme Court, and we're talking about the Pandai election rerun. My colleague Lord Edwasari, he'll be joining us shortly. But let me give you some background to the story. That the Supreme Court has set Wednesday, January 28, to rule on the application by MP for Pandai, Matthew Nyindam, to quash the decision of the Tamale High Court. NDC parliamentary candidate for Pandai, Daniel Nsala, he filed an election petition which resulted in the annulment of Nyindam's election. Now, lawyers of Nyindam then escalated the matter to the Apex Court, arguing that the High Court judge lacked jurisdiction and the petition was filed after the mandatory 21-day period. Well, on Tuesday, January 13, the lawyers prayed the Supreme Court to overrun the Tamale High Court's decision on grounds that the NDC Pandai parliamentary candidate filed his petition on January 25 after the 21-day mandatory period. Lord Edwasari is joining us to bring us update on what transpired in court. But first, Lord, tell us how the journey of the Pandai election rerun the court decisions, how has it all been? Thank you. Lord, can you hear me?
Right, Cosby. Yeah, Cosby, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. So you recall that we've been at this for quite a bit as far as the Pandai election is concerned, and it's followed right after a similar issue or incident had with the Akwita. So if you'd like, you can say it was basically like the same playbook. Now, the NDC Member of Parliament went to the Tamale High Court and then filed a petition indicating that the Member of Parliament elect should not be holding that position because there's certain exigencies or certain issues regarding the electoral results. And the Tamale High Court granted his petition and then suspended the election. Now, fast forward, he also filed contempt. Again, that was also granted. And because we recall that there was lots of back and forth where the minority members of parliament were very much opposed to the fact that some members of the NDC, I should say, wanted them to oust the MP-elect or the MP for Pandai from the Parliament House. They made the argument that even when there was a case against, for example, Jackie Quayson, when he had an issue with his election when they were in court, remember, Jackie Quayson was also, there were some cases against him regarding fraud, among other things, because of a dual citizenship. So they're making the case that even when he had the issue, they did not oust him from Parliament. So that also went on for a bit. Now, fast forward, the case was escalated to the Supreme Court, and the lawyers for NPP sent the case to the Supreme Court this time around, indicating that the presiding judge in the Pandai case had no jurisdiction in the matter, citing that, for example, and this is where I'm bringing what happened in court yesterday. The reasons were they did it on two grounds. The first ground was that they felt, or from the documentation on record, the NDC candidate, Pandai candidate, Daniel Insala, he filed the petition out of time. Now, whenever there's an election result, you have 21-day period to file any petition if you feel aggrieved by the result. Now, they indicated that the result, the Pandai election result, it was gazetted on December 24. But then Daniel Insala filed the petition on January 25, 2025, pardon me. So they indicated that this was way after 21 days, and so they should not give him any platform of any sort. Now, the second ground was that because the petition was filed out of time, every action that was taken after that should be null and void. And so they were praying the apex courts to, as it were, throughout the application to, or the petition, essentially, they wanted the Supreme Court to quash that decision by the Tamale High Court. Now, of course, the lawyers for Daniel Insala, they're led by Ablan Ado, Sika Ablan Ado. She made the argument that it cannot be the case that they filed their petition out of time, because in as much as, yes, there was a gazette on December 24, 2024, the Pandai election results were re-gazetted on January 6th. And they stressed that the January 6th gazette, for example, contained all the 276 election results, including that of Pandai.
Right.
And so normally if there's a documentation and then there's an update Crosby on a later date, automatically the court is expected to use the updated one, which is a recent one, right? And so that's what they use, and that's for that reason, because they filed their petition on January 25, cannot be said that they filed the case out of time. And then they indicated that they actually accused the MPP of cherry-picking which gazettes to use, in that when the case was happening at the Tamale High Court, Matthew Nyendam, the NPP candidate who was elected as the MP for Pandai, used the January 6th gazette at the Tamale High Court. And so it cannot be that now they've come to the Supreme Court, he's indicating that the January 6th gazette should not take precedence because the original one was filed on December 24. And so in their affidavit in opposition to the application filed by the NPP candidate's lawyers, they indicated that they should throw out this application to quash the High Court's ruling because it is very much valid.
Right.
And then the lawyer for the Electoral Commission, because let's do a bit of a run back here. You recall that when the case was called last year, there were no representation from the Electoral Commission, and they got the bench to actually criticize heavily the Electoral Commission or the commissioners essentially, because they're saying that now this is a body that takes care of all the elections, that takes care of all the elections of the country, and there was no representation. They were just left with the lawyers. But for example, the indication that if there was a representation from the commission, initially last year when they were got, for which reason the case was adjourned to January, the accusation from the NPP's courses were that they hadn't been able to serve Daniel in Salawapa because he was evading services. So they had come to the Supreme Court for an alternative way to serve him through WhatsApp, mail, the notices board of the High Court and the Supreme Court.
Right. I'd like for you to hold on for me and let's have a conversation with the Deputy Director of Elections of the NDC, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. Rashid Tanko Computer is joining us on the lines right now. Rashid, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother.
And Happy New Year. It's the first time we're engaging in 2025. 2026, I beg your pardon.
Very well, very well. I'm grateful.
Nice.
Same to you and your crew.
How does the NDC receive the Supreme Court's decision to adjourn the Pandai case?
Well, we were in court yesterday. I was there throughout. I can assure you we are okay. We are fine with the submissions of our counsel yesterday in opposition to the motion of the NPP. I can tell you they have no case. They will be thrown out on the 28th of January. We are prepared for the rerun. So we are continuing our campaign as we speak now. Our teams are on the ground. They are doing the campaign. And so we are okay. We are fine. It has even given us additional days to campaign before the 28th.
But is the party satisfied with how the case is progressing at the Supreme Court?
Very much satisfied. Very, very much satisfied. In fact, we presented our case before them. I mean, we were very clear in our mind that there was no error whatsoever in relying on the 6th January Gazette because the Gazette emanated from the Electoral Commission. Because the NPP brought it as exhibit attached to the affidavit praying at the Tamil High Court to dismiss our earlier application of 23rd December 2024. And the Electoral Commission did not oppose it. They didn't see anything wrong with it. So they were in concert with the NPP, thinking that the trial judge would dismiss our application and then they will get to go. Unfortunately, we also went ahead and we drew that 23rd one and filed fresh one on 25th January 2025 so that we could fall within the 21 days. After we have achieved this and at the case management, 3 issues were set down for trial. They didn't bring up the issue of 24th Gazette again. There was nothing of that nature. That is why we cited them for fraud, both the Electoral Commission and the NPP. Time and again, I've been saying that this current NPP is just an offshoot of NPP. The Electoral Commission I'm talking of, they are offshoot of NPP. Because whatever the NPP is doing, they are in support of them. Just yesterday in court, they brought in an affidavit in support of the NPP, the claim of another 24 business. What kind of hypocrisy is that?
Now, Rashid, we understand that this adjournment is not affecting the NDC's confidence in the case in any way. But what message does the NDC have for the supporters in Pandai following this delay? Because they were expecting a by-election, an election in the constituency some time ago. That did not happen. It is the dates keep changing and they do not have certainty. I'm talking about their levels of preparedness. So what message will you give your supporters in Pandai after this second delay?
I say that they should continue the campaign as we indicated to them yesterday. They should continue their house-to-house campaign, appealing to the good people of Pandai to vote for the NDC. Of course, I know the rerun will come. because the 28th, the NPP and their collaborators, Electoral Commission, will be dismissed. They cannot eat their cake and have it. You cannot intentionally create something and turn around to benefit the same thing that you have created to deceive the trial judge, and expecting that the Supreme Court should award you this kind of relief that you are looking for. No.
I see. Rashid, thank you. We'll get back to you for more. Rashid, thank you. Thank you so much. Rashid Tanko Computer is the Deputy Director of Elections of the party in government, the NDC, speaking with us there. Haji Yakundo. Alaji, I'm greeting you myself. The people will not greet you alone. Call us on 0559242717 or 0556910154. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my good brother.
Sir, your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, Collins from Amamole.
Collins Amamole. Let me listen to you. Be brief, sir.
Fantastic. Let me take this good opportunity to greet Dr. Akwesi Mensah, Chief Executive Officer of the Shipyard, BSC, and Ashimo, NDC Greater Accra Regional Chairman. I'll go straight to this. That's what I heard. They are coming to dismiss Professor